This is a gentle back bending flow. As gentle as a back bending flow can go. Please enjoy. You don't need anything except your lovely self. We're going to start sitting back on our heels, as long as that feels comfortable for you. If you've got a block or a blanket that you want to slide underneath to make yourself a little more comfortable, then be my guest. Equally, sitting cross-legged if this is too much. And I want you to sit up tall wherever you are, roll the shoulders back, press down your hands onto your thighs, and take a huge deep breath in through the nose, and then release it out through the mouth. We're going to take two more like this. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Final time like this. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Now steady your breath. Come back in and out through the nose. Not quite so deep as those first couple. And I want you to start moving. You might bat open your eyelids at this point, or you might just follow the sound of my voice. So as you inhale, I want you to roll your shoulders back, lift your chest up, arch your spine. Exhale, press into your hands on your thighs as you curl your back behind you. Inhale, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest, arch the spine. Exhale, round the spine as you press it back behind you. Inhale, roll shoulders back, lift the chest, arch through the spine. Exhale, round it, send it curling back. And then draw yourself up through center. If you've still got your eyes closed, you may bat them open. Hello, at this point. As we inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, can you open the elbows wide, lift up through your chest, up towards the ceiling. Really roll those shoulders back and down. Inhale, lift your arms all the way up. Find that straight spine once again. Exhale, bring your hands down through center, palms together. Let's repeat that. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, send the elbows wide, lift the chest, roll those shoulders back. Inhale, lift the arms up, straighten that spine. Exhale, bring hands down through heart center. One more time. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, send the elbows out wide, chest up. Inhale, lift the arms, find that length through the spine. Exhale, draw the hands down through heart center. Lovely. You might still be on your knees. If this is getting uncomfortable, you could come to a cross-legged, or stay with me here. You might already be in cross-legged. We're going to reach the arms all the way up. And then can you send right hand down beside you? Reach that left arm as high as you can, and then start to side bend, reaching it over to the side, but keeping that length as you do. Now, as you exhale, can you send that elbow back, finding that opening through the chest like a half cactus? Take a deep breath here. And then reach the left arm all the way back overhead, and then send both arms up as you come back to center. Left hand comes down beside you, touches the ground. Inhale, right arm reaches up and then stretches over as you side bend. Keep that length, growing tall as you take it over, not folding down, keeping the body open, rolling that right shoulder back. And then bend at the elbow, roll right shoulder back. Find that roll back through the shoulder, that lift of the chest. And then reach the right arm all the way over, bring both arms up and send your hands down in front of you. And just edge your knees back. Give your feet a little shake, especially if you were in or sitting on those heels for the same amount of time that I was. Oh yeah, little rolls of the ankles. And then let's shift into our cat-cow. So finding your all fours position, spreading those fingers. Inhale, drop the belly, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Exhale, press through the hands as you curl the spine up towards the ceiling. Now we're talking about heart opening today. So can you move from your heart? Heart first. So inhale, feel the chest being the one to lead you as you find that cow shape. Exhale, can the heart space, can that chest move first? Taking your time through these poses. Inhale to drop your belly. Chest is leading the way as you roll the shoulders back. Exhale, press into the hands, curl the spine up. One more time, moving with your breath, moving from that heart space first. And then when you next come through a neutral spine, I want you to walk the hands slightly in front of you. Shift your weight forward, so you're in a half plank, shoulders stacked over your wrists. And then bend at the elbows as you lower yourself down to the mat. Lay those legs out long. We're going to bring our elbows underneath our shoulders to find our Sphinx Pose, which is a lovely kind of intro to back bending. Not quite as ferocious as a cobra, a little bit of the way there. So you want to press your hips down into the mat. Make sure you've got all of these right angles. So elbows stacked underneath shoulders, wrists directly out in front of those elbows. Press down through tops of feet and your hips as you roll the shoulders back, gazing forward. And can you take a deep breath in? As you exhale, gaze over your right shoulder, really gently. And then inhale, bring it back to center. Exhale, gaze over your left shoulder. Inhale, bring it back to center. Now press into the palms, lift the elbows just a little and release yourself all the way down to the mat. Press your hands underneath your shoulders, press back to your knees, tuck your toes, lift your hips, find your downward facing dog. So feet are hip width, hands are shoulder width. Press up through your bum. So there's a long line between your hands and your hips. Really find that straight long line. Maybe you shake out the head. Maybe you pedal through the feet. And then can you start to walk your hands back to your feet? Walking your hands all the way back. And finding a fold at the back of your mat. Feet are hip width. Release the tip of your head down to the mat, sending that weight forward. Hips towards the heels. Now bring your hands clasped behind the back of your head. Hug your elbows in around your head. And as you inhale, we're going to tuck chin into chest and start to roll ourselves up. Taking your time. And then when you do come up to stand, opening those elbows wide, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the chest. Then you're going to start to bring those elbows back in around the head as you curl the chin into the chest and roll it all the way back down. Take your time. And then release the hands down. And start to walk the hands back out to that downward facing dog. Yes. Now we're going to lift the right leg and then step it forward between the hands. Lower that back knee into a lunge here. I want you to reach up with your arms and try and find this straight spine to begin with. Once we back bend, we start to open. Can you find that really tall, straight base? So I kind of press my hips forward, a little thrust movement towards the front. Now we're going to find some movement here. As we inhale, we're going to find this lift through the chest as we reach the arms up. As we exhale, open the elbows, lift that chest up. Try to keep the hips pressing forward. And then we're going to release the hands as far back behind us as we can, inhaling to lean over our front thigh and lift the arms all the way up, bringing our body up straight. Exhale, open the elbows, lift the chest up, send the arms back as far as you can. Inhale, fold over the thigh, reach the arms up. One last time like this. Send the elbows wide as you exhale. Send the arms out and back. Lean over that front thigh. Inhale, reach yourself all the way back up. And then bring your hands down around this front foot. You're going to plant your left hand into the mat. It can always be on a block if this isn't that easy to reach. Inhale, reach your right arm up. We're finding a twist. But can you really open up through this twist? Instead of thinking about this right hand stacking directly on top of the shoulder, can you open it even further back? You're bringing this right hip back with you. You're keeping that front knee bent over your ankle. Now, option to lift that back knee. If you want a little extra, keep wrapping that right hip back. Well, stay with me. Knee down, opening up that top arm. Yes, yes, yes. And then can you release that right hand all the way down around the right foot? We're going to bring the right knee back next to left knee. We're in that little half plank again. Send the shoulders over the wrists. Bend the elbows to lower yourself all the way down. Now let's find our Sphinx again. Elbows underneath shoulders, hands in front of our elbows. Inhale, start to lift the chest, roll your shoulders back. Now this time, can you get into this a little deeper? Press the hips down into the mat. And almost press the finger pads like you're clawing the mat back towards you. So feel like you're actively pulling that mat back towards you as you roll your shoulders back. Oh yeah, you feel that? I can. Take a deep breath. Exhale it out. And then as you inhale, press into your palms, lift the elbows. Exhale, release it down. Now before we come back to do that on the other side, we're going to find a locust pose. So we're going to send our arms back behind us, little fingers facing up towards the ceiling. Draw those legs in kind of towards each other. They might not touch, but can you draw them in towards each other? Press the hips down into the mat. And as you inhale, start to roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. You're gazing just in front of you, but still down towards the mat. So I'm not stretching my neck forward. I'm kind of keeping my neck long as I gaze forward but down. And then, can you lift your feet? Keep rolling those shoulders back. Can you bring those thighs off the mat? Take a deep breath here. You've got it for 3, for 2, for 1, and then sink it back down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, press back to your knees, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog, which miraculously does feel like a lovely stretch after the back bending. You might not be agreeing with me right now if downward dog is not your fave. Can you start to walk your hands back towards your feet? So walk your hands all the way back, and then you're at the back of the mat, feet are hip width. Bring the hands around the back of the head, release that tip down to the mat. Bring the elbows in to hug the head, and then tuck your chin into your chest. Can you slowly roll yourself up? Take your time. Bringing the elbows wide as you stand, lifting that chest. Then draw the elbows back in around the face, start to tuck chin into chest. Slowly roll it back down. Weight is going towards your toes. Find that fold, release the hands from the back of the head. Walk your hands back out to your downward facing dog. And then we're going to lift that left leg up And step it through between the hands. Lower your right knee. So let's set up for the lunge on the other side. Make sure you've got some space. So you're not on a tightrope with your feet. You've got a little space between the knee and the foot. Reach the arms up, find that little tuck of the tailbone to find that length through the spine. Take an inhale here, reaching the arms up above you. And then exhale, open the elbows wide, lift the chest. Reach those arms all the way back as far as you can. Before you inhale, lean forward, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, elbows wide, send that chest high, keep pressing those hips forward. Reach the arms all the way back. Inhale, lean over that front thigh. Reach the arms and the spine up. One more time, exhale, send the elbows wide. Reach the arms back, fold over that front thigh. Lift the arms all the way up. And then release your hands down around that front foot. Right hand gets heavy, presses into the mat as we lift that left arm all the way up, finding the twist to the left. Peel that left hip back and around and really open up that top arm. Find as much space as you can. Like this side, your right hand side of your body is desperate for some sun. And there is sun just above you there, right there on the ceiling. If you did it on the other side and you want to on this side, maybe you lift that back knee or you stay down with me, stretching yourself open, finding that space. And then lower that knee if it's lifted, reach the left arm all the way back down. Let's send the left knee next to the right. Shift the weight forward to find that half plank. Exhale, release down to the mat. Lay the legs long. Let's find a Sphinx, elbows under your shoulders, palms directly in front of your elbows. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Maybe using those finger pads, pretending like you're pulling the mat back towards you. Press the hips down. And then press into the hands. Lift the elbows slightly and release yourself down. One more locust. Or nearly one more. There might be another appearing at some point, but nearly one locust. Send those hands back behind you. Bring the legs in towards each other. Press the hips down into the mat. Start to inhale, lift your chest. Now you could get your hands beside you, little fingers facing up. You could clasp them behind your back this time. Whatever feels good. If you're clasping them back, use that clasp to roll the shoulders back. Start to lift the chest, gazing in front of you but down towards the mat. Lift those legs. Try and lift the thighs a little further up, squeezing those legs in towards each other. Keep lifting the chest for 3, for 2, for 1, and then gently release it down. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Press back to your knees. And we're going to come to a seat, sending the legs out in front, soles of the feet to the mat. And send your hands back behind you. Now, you could have your fingers facing back behind you. I'm going to have my fingers facing towards my toes because that feels good for me. So whatever you fancy. As we inhale, we're going to lift the hips, roll the shoulders back, lift that chest. Exhale, can you sit your bum back down? Inhale, lift the hips, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Exhale, press your bum back down. One more time, inhale, lift the hips, roll shoulders back, lift the chest, press them high. And then exhale, send them down. And then cross the feet, bring the hands over in front, come to all fours. Keep your knees underneath your hips. We couldn't do a heart opening flow without this pose, without our puppy pose. So keep the hips over the knees, start to walk the arms forward. Now traditional hands are shoulder width. You could take them wider if that feels really tight on the shoulders. You're lowering your chest down to the mat while that bum sits up above your knees. Really releasing that chest down as far as it will go. Maybe your forehead comes to touch the mat. Maybe if you have room and space, your chin comes to the mat, but just be cautious of how the neck feels. Keep releasing your chest a little lower towards the mat. This is our puppy pose, which in Sanskrit is Anahatasana, which translates as heart opening pose. That literally is a heart opening, heart sinking pose. I also think that because it's called puppy pose, regardless of how much you think this looks like a puppy or not, oh, puppies are lovely, right? Puppies are about the heart. Puppies get you in the heart. Yes. So think puppies. Anyway, not keeping you here for much longer. Can you, like I've already cheekily done, come forward towards your forearms? So like press down into your forearms, start to shift the weight forward. And we're gonna send the hips down towards the mat. Here we are, back in a Sphinx pose. And just take a breath here. I'm not gonna grip the mat and pull the mat back towards me for this one. I'm gonna roll my shoulders, keep my chest lifted, but find a little softer one. So whatever you feel, take a deep breath. Exhale it out. Inhale, press your palms into the mat, lift the elbows. Exhale, release it all the way down. Now we've got one more kind of back bendy thingamajigger here. You've seen our locust. Both of those versions that we've done are your option here. So you could go to a locust, or you're gonna find a bow pose, which is more intense. So please do, if your body wants it, go to the locusts. You know where you're going. You're either clasping the hands behind your back, or your little fingers are facing up, and you're finding that curve of the spine. If you're finding your bow, you're gonna bend your legs, and your hands are gonna come to the little toe side of the feet. Do I mean little toe side of the feet? I'm grabbing the big toe side of the foot. I always find this so confusing, right? Because your hand, when it's gripping, it goes across the whole foot. So people say little side, little toe side, and I'm like, well, kind of both. I don't know. So my fingers are next to my big toes. Goodness me. Talk about taking your time so that you don't have to come into your boat pose. Like our locust, and if you are in your locust, press your hips down into the mat. Everyone pressing your hips, and you'll already feel that hip movement start to lift the thighs. Roll the shoulders back, start to lift the chest, and press your feet into your hands. Keep pressing the feet into the hands and let that move you. Lift the shoulders back. Lift the chest, keep pressing the feet into the hands. You're here in your locust or your bow for 3, for 2, for 1. And then take it all the way down. Make a little pillow for your head with your hands. Oh, and just let your forehead rest. Maybe you wiggle your hips from side to side. Take a moment. Keep breathing here. Just letting your body know that you're okay. Because that's intense. Both the locust, the bow, they're intense, and back bends, I don't know, I think hit hard. I think they really make our body go, oh gosh, yikes. So just take a moment. And then you're going to bring your hands underneath your shoulders. We're going to press back to a child's pose. So pressing back to your knees. You might take them as wide as your mat. Send the bum back towards the heels. Release the hands out in front of you, or make a little pillow for your forehead again. And just find a fold here. Child's pose is a really nice way of starting to take the body back in the other direction when we've been back bending, but not too ferociously. Like if we came straight into a legs straight out, folding down towards the legs, that's going to be incredibly intense. So just starting to curve the body and the spine back in the other way. Take one more deep breath here. And then you're gently going to lift yourself up. Walk yourself towards the top of the mat. Place the soles of your feet down onto the mat. Lay your arms out in front of you. Oh, after being pressed down onto the floor for quite a time, the light hits differently. And then can you curl your spine and roll yourself all the way back? Oh, take your time to get there. And just take a moment, feet to the ground, maybe your hands rest on your body, on your belly, or out to the side. And then you're going to walk your feet in so that if you take your hands down, your fingertips can just about reach your heels. Press your palms down into the mat. And let's find a bridge. Inhaling to press the hips high, but only press them as high as they can go without snuggling your shoulders underneath you for this one. Press your hips high, almost pull your heels back towards your body. So you're not actually pulling them, but you're feeling that connection. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, release it down. Now for this next one, you might stay there. You might lift your hips, press those hands down into the mat, see how far you can go. You might snuggle your shoulders underneath you and clasp the hands. Press your hips high. Exhale it out. Feeling like you're pulling those heels back towards you. Feeling the energy, shaking the legs. And then if your hands are clasped behind you, unsnuggle the shoulders and gently ease yourself down. Now, if you have got a wheel in your practice, which is pressing your hands behind you and lifting your whole body up, feel free to go with that. I'm not feeling it today. I quite often feel like a wheel, which is why I put it in this practice. I'm not feeling it today. Perfect example, right, of being like, actually, this ain't for me right now. If you would like to do a wheel, your next one can be a wheel. If not, stick with me. Press your hands down into the mat. Let's find that bridge. Inhale, lift the hips as high as you can, maybe snuggling those shoulders underneath you, maybe clasping the hands, pressing the hips high. Let's take 3 deep breaths here wherever you are, in that wheel, in your bridge with me. Keep pressing the hips higher each time. One final breath. And then gently lowering yourself down, but take your time. It's the hardest thing, taking your time on the way down. Now don't curl your knees in yet. That was more back bending. Lots and lots of stretching through the body. Take your feet as wide as the mat and just start to sway your knees from side to side. You might rest your hands on your belly, they might come out to the side. We're just starting to find some gentle movement. We don't want to rush your back and your spine. It's so important to our movement throughout the day, we really want to be careful and cautious with what we do. So take a couple more sways from side to side. And then you're gently going to curl your knees into your chest, but take your time. Oh yeah. And then sway from side to side, hugging the knees in. Take any other poses, movements you'd like here. Any twists, happy baby, any shakes of the body. And then you're going to lay your legs down and out for your Shavasana. Bringing your legs out long, hands out beside you, palms facing up to the ceiling. Let's take those 3 deep breaths again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And then let your breath return in and out through the nose. And I want you to let yourself drift off here, spending as long as you've got. This is where I'm going to leave you, however. So really take your time here. And I'll see you on the mat next time.